The coastal mangroves are lush and dense. The arching roots provide shelter for various small fish. Sharks and saltwater crocodiles swim in the bay. But they can't reach these tasty morsels. However, the tide will eventually recede. The small fish hidden in the crevices of the roots will have to leave their shelter and swim into this dangerous open area. These delicious little fish could disappear at any moment, dying in the jaws of an assassin. Hello everyone, I'm Ectoplasm Enigma. You're watching the 171st episode of The Light of All Things. In this episode, let's dive into the vast ocean and witness the perfect hunt together. Every time the tide recedes, some small fish fall victim. The assassins are both ruthless and greedy. Having just caught one, they are eager to hunt the next. From a sinister hole, to capsule-like eyes emerge. No one would have guessed that this hidden deadly killer is actually a mantis shrimp. Its scientific name is a zebra mantis shrimp, the largest mantis shrimp in the ocean. In the eyes of humans, the mantis shrimp's meat is fresh and tender. However, here, they are the tyrants of the beach. A male mantis shrimp can even grow up to 40 centimeters, weighing more than a pound. Its claws are powerful, capable of launching a lightning-fast attack within milliseconds. A high hunting success rate befits the reputation of an assassin. In fact, the diligent hunting of the male shrimp is not just for itself. Deep within the burrow lies its mate. They have been together for nearly 20 years. The female shrimp is responsible for bearing and raising the young, never leaving the burrow. The male shrimp provides food and protects his mate. The outside world is too dangerous. The male shrimp could also face misfortune. If the male shrimp disappears, the female shrimp, having lost her hunting ability, might starve to death. This pair of mantis shrimp are deeply devoted to each other. Their love is touching. It really commands our respect. Strangely, the male shrimp's behavior is somewhat unusual today. It's as if something has caught his attention. Perhaps it's a scent of prey, or maybe an irresistible call. The male shrimp actually crawls out of the burrow, risking danger. He heads towards the source of the sound, even at the cost of abandoning his lifelong mate. A few minutes later, he arrives at the entrance of a larger sandy burrow and slips right in. Deep inside the burrow lives a female shrimp. After losing her mate, she kept sending out distress signals, hoping for a new partner to come and save her. The male shrimp actually agreed, perhaps because he is larger than her previous mate and can produce more offspring. The charm of the widow is indeed irresistible. Shangxia has a new love and forgets the old one. I didn't mention the soup of mutual reliance before. There are more ambush experts in the sea than just mantis shrimp. By comparison, the bobbit worm is even more sinister and treacherous. A lionfish hunting at night accidentally falls into a death trap. In an instant, it changes from predator to prey. And the culprit is a notorious bobbit worm. They bury their snake-like bodies in the sand, leaving only their dagger-like sharp jaws exposed. The bobbit worm's bizarre and terrifying appearance fully satisfies our imagination of a desert death worm. Bobbit worms are found in warm seas around the world. They average 1 meter in length, but can grow up to 3 meters. This primitive-bodied assassin likely emerged during the Devonian period, 400 million years ago. They have perfected the art of nocturnal hunting, striking their prey with speed, precision, and ruthlessness, showing no mercy. Dawn has arrived. The sun rises. Bobbit worms retreat into the sand to rest. But some greedy ones, feeling unsatisfied, choose to keep hunting. But the situation during the day is completely different. A group of small sea eagles coming to feed easily spot the hidden villain. The villain covers himself with a thin layer of sand. The small sea eagles blow hard at him. Once exposed, the bobbit worm loses its ability to launch a surprise attack. Its advantage is completely lost. More and more small sea eagles gather around. They take turns blowing at the bobbit worm, leaving it with no place to hide. But one thing must always be remembered. Don't get too close while blowing, or you might lose your life in an instant. After watching the underwater hunt, let's turn our attention to the surface of the sea. The hunt here is equally spectacular. On a remote island in the Indian Ocean, more than 500,000 terns flock here to breed. The chicks are not yet fully fledged, but are eager to fly. Those not ready can only hop in place. Those who can fly are already practicing over the calm sea. If they exhaust their strength and stop on the water's surface, there's always a sea monster ready to gobble them up. The moment the waves splash, the chick disappears instantly. It's a large true barracuda, also a prized catch among anglers. Adult barracudas grow over 1 meter long. Barracudas usually hunt alone, but are occasionally drawn by a large group of prey. During the tern chick's flying season, they experience a gluttonous feast. The smart chicks stay as far from the water as possible. Even when thirsty, they just take a sip and leave. But even then, they must remain vigilant, their deep-set eyes darting around. They're thinking of ways to catch the tender chick meat. He can even calculate the speed and height of the bird's flight, determine their flight trajectory, and plan ahead before launching an attack. Swimming rapidly as if taking a run-up, a fish leaps out of the sea. In the blink of an eye, it tears its prey apart. Here, the Navy wins over the Air Force. Despite the perilous journey ahead, with life or death uncertain, but under their parents' guidance, the young terns brave their first life or death challenge. A young tern, exhausted, falls onto the sea surface. Its mother lets out a frantic and urgent cry, signaling it to quickly leave the dangerous sea surface. The young tern is too tired. It doesn't want to move. However, the predator is already speeding towards it. In the nick of time, the young tern slowly flies away from the sea surface. To have been kissed by death and still survive, the young tern will eventually embark on a new journey of life. Far away in the Serengeti plains of East Africa, every year, the great migration of millions of animals takes place. Herbivores must cross treacherous rivers to reach the lush pastures on the other side. Crocodiles lurking in the rivers are always ready to launch a deadly attack. Meanwhile, on the rocky coast of South America, a marine version of the Great Migration is about to unfold. The tides rise and fall every day in the ocean, bringing new opportunities to the red rock crabs living there. As one of the many herbivorous crabs, they move in groups toward the algae-rich rocks. Their numbers grow larger and larger. They are all waiting for the moment of low tide. When the tide recedes, the algae-covered rocks are exposed, but they are more than 100 meters away. And that 100-meter distance is also their death zone. The green algae beckon to them. They can't care about anything else. There's always the first crab that dares to jump out. Then comes the second, and the third, just like the wildebeest crossing the river. They move forward one after another. However, once the red rock crabs fall into the water, they frantically climb onto the rocks. They seem to be very afraid of the water. As expected, there's a reason. There are always monsters lurking in the sea. One wrong step and they lose their lives. The ocean is home to top-notch crab hunters. They lurk in the cracks of the rocks, constantly watching the surface where their prey passes by. Their sinister eyes gleam coldly. Sharp teeth crowd their jaws. They are the most deadly enemy of the red rock crabs. To avoid their enemies, the red rock crabs have developed superb dodging skills. Hesitating is not an option. They must reach the algae-rich rocks before the tide rises, otherwise, the feast will be submerged by seawater. It's a race against the tide, and a gamble with death. The frustrated hunters may even climb out of the water and over the rocks, set up an ambush on the path ahead. For the sake of foraging, the red rock crabs must fight for their lives. But their world is not just about Murray eels. Octopuses also love crab meat the most, and they are much smarter than Murray eels. He hides in small water channels to launch an ambush, always with a chance to hit the jackpot. The lucky ones who escape repeated fierce attacks and reach the seaweed dining table can finally eat in peace. Only crabs that fight for their lives possess a true fighting spirit. Murray eels prefer to hunt alone. Their harvest is always hit or miss. Some predators choose to hunt in packs like wolves, making the effort much more effective. On the coast of the Galapagos Islands, there lives a smaller species of sea lion. These young bachelors need to gain weight and build strength quickly to win in the upcoming mating battle. This young sea lion named Little Cannon has always dreamed of becoming a sea lion champion. For this, he has been diligently fishing. Special meals are needed to earn extra rewards. Among all the prey, yellowfin tuna is the most perfect. They are large. Their meat is fatty and delicious. Catching just one can leave your mouth watering. But they are also the hardest prey to catch. With a swimming speed of 60 kilometers per hour, they leave many predators in the dust. In the open ocean, it is almost impossible to catch them. But Little Cannon has a trick. He follows and herds them, driving a small group of tuna into a bay. The bay is funnel-shaped, narrowing as it goes forward. Little Cannon tries to trap the fish in a dead end. But at the last moment, the fish suddenly turn and flee. The sea lion's speed is no longer enough to catch up. His hunting plan has failed. Hunting alone has its limitations. Little Cannon calls his friends for a rematch. The companions basking on the rocks dive into the sea when they hear the call. A collective hunt is about to begin. They go to the open sea to find the fish, then chase and corner them, driving the fish into the bay. The tuna panic and are forced into the narrowest part of the strait. This is the only escape route. Once they enter, it's like walking into a trap. Little Cannon himself guards the strait, sealing off the fish's escape route, letting his teammates catch fish in the chaos. The tuna, like headless flies, crash around wildly. Their speed advantage is completely gone. The sea lions can easily bite into the fat fish. The dream of feasting is thus realized. Such a brilliant hunting strategy requires keen foresight and teamwork. After the successful hunt, Little Cannon finally leaves the strait to enjoy his spoils. Every extra bite increases his chances and brings him one step closer to his dream of becoming a leader. The cooperation among sea lions is a form of cooperation within the same species. They have the same animal language for communication. Cooperative hunting is therefore quite natural. However, cross-species cooperation in hunting has also become possible in the ocean. In the warm and clear diving zones of tropical seas, coral reefs create vast limestone habitats. They occupy less than 1/1000 of the seafloor area, yet they nurture 1/4 of marine life. Colorful, layer upon layer of coral fortresses resemble a fantastical alien world. Various fish weave through. Some settle down. Some search for food. Some seek shelter. The fish coming here all have their own purposes. This scat is searching for small fish and shrimp in the coral reef. Its sharp teeth reveal its ferocious nature. It can swallow any prey smaller than itself in one bite. But its size is definitely a disadvantage. In the narrow coral crevices, it cannot squeeze in no matter what, let alone catch the small fish hiding inside. The problem is, it has a competitor, a highly intelligent octopus. Both like to eat the same small fish. But the octopus has inherent advantages that the scad does not. As a mollusk, it can change its shape at will, wriggling through the coral crevices. Even so, its prey often escapes. The scad keeps following the octopus, seemingly with something to say. Its color gradually lightens. It even performs a flip, all to attract the octopus's attention. The signal for cooperation has been sent. To show sincerity, it even made a gesture, pointing out the hiding place of the prey. The octopus understood immediately and rushed toward the prey. It enveloped the coral reef like a net, its tentacles probing inside. Panicked small fish fled out, directly swimming into the scad's mouth. This perfect cooperation was a success. Of course, the scad won't eat alone. The benefits are shared. Cooperative relationships must be maintained. Next, it will assist its allies in hunting, until they are all full. Such cross-species cooperation in hunting is truly astonishing. Survival and hunting are the norms of nature. The vast ocean is no exception. Behind thrilling hunts often lie tenacious vitality and astonishing intelligence. Just how smart are marine creatures? Let's continue exploring in the next episode.